think it was an opportunity that initially wasn't obvious, but the opportunity to me sounded like something that I can do where I bring all of my experience to date. I serve and help organizations, but I can do it in a more flexible way that serves my family and where I am in life. You know, I'm still motivated. I'm still hungry for growth. I still want to learn and I'm learning every day. And that's one thing I'm loving is that I'm still learning every day. Every day is a school day. But that's something where I was able to put my thumbprint on it, if you like, that this is something that I've packaged what I know, what I've felt, what I've delivered, where I've failed, where I've grown, put that together. And I know that will be of benefit and use to organizations and do it with some integrity. And I think the delivery aspect of what I've done in the past, I think is where the conviction and integrity can come through because it's not just talking about concepts. It's something I've actually done and I've built and delivered it as well. So I think that's where my desire to do something like that. And like I said, it wasn't obvious to begin with, but I thought actually there's a great opportunity here. Let's put this together and see where this goes.
And was that driven by the market of like, the job market at the time, do you think, as much as anything else? Or was it your desire to always kind of think you would work differently?
Yeah, I think the job market is really, telling you more and more that it's so temporary. You just don't know where you're going to be. And I know we've come out of that era of a job for life or a job for 20 years ago, but I think now speaking to more and more of my peers in the industry, there's a lot more volatility. And I think so you think to yourself, right, how can I protect myself and how can I continue to serve my family? Well, the first thing you probably could do is take things into your own hands, and try and build something and so that you at least you know that okay, I'm driving this now. And the speed you go at, it will depend on your confidence, the resources you have and how you feel about things. But the job market is definitely not what it used to be. And I think what's frustrating for a lot of people is it looks a certain way, but when you dig in, you realize a lot of it is not real either. A lot of the jobs, so it just adds to that frustration. So I think there's an opportunity here to try and do something for yourself and build something, learn along the way. So that I think that's what's motivated me to do so. So, we use this term speed to market quite a bit when we're talking to prospects and businesses generally. A massive differentiator, I think, with what what experience I've had with total sales with yourself and with Matt. First of all, the two individuals who are able to there's a strong emotional intelligence there on connecting and understanding where somebody is right now, and that could be the vulnerability, what you're feeling at the time, but what you'd also like to achieve. The second thing is the resource pool. So the collateral, the methodology, the approach, and the consistent logic, I think, in the approach that you see throughout, right? So everything you're seeing, all the material, and initially it's overwhelming because there's so much you're taking in. But like I'm going back to stuff now, 2 or 3 months in, and I'm seeing, and then you're starting to see the pattern of what's been built, and then you think, wow, this is really thought through. And I think what I also like is the agile aspect of it's not like okay, right, we've seen something different, we've seen a different response. So we pivot a little bit and we try things a little bit differently. But I think the fundamental methodology, the framework, that's been consistent. And I have to say, in practice, when you start to talk to organizations, let's say from a qualification point of view, assessing whether you can help them, it's very powerful because I think the discovery questioning framework itself, it's teaching me a lot about how to get someone to that place of realization, like the assisted buying versus selling mindset. I think that's great. So I'm learning a lot, and there's a lot of collateral you guys are sharing and giving. There's a lot of support, I guess it's going to be a stage where it gets really big, right? And then the amount of time we get it may reduce, but it's been really positive.
Most useful for you? And then has there been a moment where you realized this has been really hard to do on my own, during this
Yes,
process?
but I think the way you guys have built it is the first phase, if you like, is the one-to-one. It's the discovery of each other. It's what you want to achieve. And at least that's what it's been for me. And then I think the graduation from there is to come into the community. And then when you meet the community, you realize that everyone's on a similar journey, but also very different. But at the same time, they're all there taking benefit from the model. So I think that is also really powerful. And what I really like is, like, when you come together on a Thursday, not everyone's going to have had the same week or the same wins, but the platform is there for everyone to share. And I think you take from that, you listen, you get a lot of nuggets, you get a lot of confidence and information and affirmation, I would say. And then that energy takes you into, the day and then the following period. So I think the community is building really nicely. And yeah, I think and then the co-pilot aspect, seeing the team, like I'm now meeting my co-pilot twice a week and just I'm learning as well, right? So like, okay, now we've got this operations tracker. We're going to move stuff into the CRM. We're going to classify these leads based on these things. 3 months ago, this was concept, and then it became theory on the document. Now it's practice. So that's another thing that I'm finding really encouraging. I mean, for me, the ideal blueprint is having 5 or 6 co-pilots, right? Where you've got you're directing, you're strategizing, and actually, I want my co-pilots to hold me accountable. Like, hey, you've not done this, so because I'm great at the strategy and I'm great with the people in person and connecting and even virtually. But I know that those little nuggets of this needs to move from this stage to that stage, or that's still outstanding. Like today, Paolo was like, okay, you need to check these responses and like, okay, yeah, a couple of those actually aren't our ICP. They actually work for a company, so let's just kill those. But these two, I'm already speaking to them, and I'm trying to get a meeting in the diary. So that kind of thing is working really well. So definitely the confidence is there that this can scale and the operation can be quite a significant size because the co-pilots working with you, serving 3, 4, 5 clients at a time, you can see how well that would work. It would take a lot of coordination, but I think that would be structured in a good way. I think if you're ready to take a step and believe in yourself and take a bet on yourself, and you feel the confidence and conviction in your experience, then this is definitely a good opportunity for you. If you're used to the corporate cushions of, being there doing your thing and then letting other teams and people do their thing, it's probably not the right thing for you because you've got to be very flexible and there's a mindset shift, because now you are driving, you are changing the tires, you are putting the petrol in, like you're in charge. But it's a massive opportunity for you to go out there and learn and have fun and make it work. So if you're ready to take on that challenge and build something for yourself and do it in an autonomous way, in the way you want to do it, then I think the sky's the limit. But if you're used to that comfort within a company, then I wouldn't necessarily take the leap.
I think you've got to have that desire to change the way you work and the way you earn. Yeah, and I think
Yes.
we do get a lot of people inquiring, saying that I'm not sure, but did you have the desire? You had the desire from when did you know you were going to change the way you worked? You know, when did it kind of come
It's
to you?
it,
It was
it's
accidental, wasn't it? In the end, I think.
it was, but actually you made me realize something, and stars align and all the rest of it. But the more I listened and thought about it and what's possible, the more clearer it became.
And it becomes not just an option; it becomes the only option, doesn't it? Because you wanted to get traction, you wanted to get moving, you wanted to start going in a direction, didn't you? You were
Yes,
you were
exactly.
sick. You were sick and tired of being sick and tired. You were like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to go that
exactly.
way, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I know we might run out of time in a second, but I think it's also about where you are in your life.